Ministry of Finance has completed all preparations for the budget of the upcoming fiscal year to be presented at the Federal Parliament tomorrow. The government, however, still has not decided on whether to provide social security benefits to senior citizens at the age of 65, while a final decision is yet to be reached regarding increasing the salary of government employees. Good morning, I'm Sapsanamma, and these are the headlines of the hour. The Ministry of Finance all set to release the new budget tomorrow. The government said to introduce the budget around 1,750 billion rupees. Debates escalate over the Supreme Court verdict to quash all procedures for construction of Nijgat International Airport. Bara residents too express dismay. Japan to accept tour groups from 98 countries and territories starting 10th of June, relaxing border controls that have been in place for about 2 years. And Rajasthan Royals thump Royal Challengers Bangalore by 7 wickets to reach the finals of Indian Premier League after 14 years. Joss Butler scores a century in the win. The Ministry of Finance has completed all preparations for the budget of the upcoming fiscal year to be presented at the Federal Parliament tomorrow. The government is set to introduce the budget of around 1,750 billion rupees. The government is yet to decide on whether or not to provide social security benefits to senior citizens at the age of 65, while a final decision is yet to be reached regarding increasing the salary of government employees. The issue of social security benefits is yet to be decided after consultations with Prime Minister Sherbahadur Deuba today. The government has said that it has prioritized reduction of employment opportunities and the agriculture sector in the budget. Increase in production of electricity, reducing the rate of electricity for consumers, and subsidies on electric appliances have also been included in the budget. The political leadership, which should have been serious towards reviving the national economy by increasing production and reducing trade deficit, has been blamed of completely ignoring the risks of economic crisis. Limitation of the discussions on the government's policies and programs presented at the parliament turned into a mere formality as the parties were engaged in blame game and leg pulling. With the budget for the upcoming fiscal year set to be presented at the House of Representatives tomorrow, parliamentarians did not exhibit any serious participation or enthusiasm while discussing the government's policies and programs at the lower house. Attendance and participation of lawmakers for discussions on the policies and programs was lackluster both on Thursday and yesterday, while political parties largely engaged in their blame games. Some of the lawmakers have urged the government to curb the financial crisis, corruption and unnecessary expenses while increasing investment in agriculture sector. With all preparations complete for the budget, these recommendations are less likely to be included in the budget. Now, the government has failed to ensure even 1/3 of the development expenditure in the ongoing fiscal year, as only 32% has been spent in the past 11 months. The Ministry of Finance has spent only 5% so far. At a time when the national economy is facing crisis and the working population has been at the receiving end, the government's policies and programs have been limited to mere documents. The Ministry of Finance, which releases the budget to all other government entities, has spent the least amount of budget in the ongoing fiscal. The Ministry of Finance had allocated 10.73 billion rupees for infrastructures. However, it itself has spent only 5% of development expenditure in the past 11 months, which is the least among the 22 ministries. The development expenditure made in the past 11 months is the lowest of the decade. Experts have suggested that this scenario is a consequence of inadequate research and study while declaring policies and programs. At a time when economic indicators are continuously declining, analysts have recommended the government to pay attention towards completing projects of national significance at the earliest without compromising standards. In our Public Voice segment, we've asked local residents in several provinces regarding why they think development works have failed to gain momentum. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
राज्यको नीति नै अलि नमिल्दो छ।
बढिरहेको महँगाईले गर्दा
मुख्य कारण भनेको कर्मचारीको लापरवाही र यो ठेकेदारको लापरवाही।
ठेकेदारको लापरवाहीले
Debates have escalated in favor and against the Supreme Court verdict to quash all procedures for the construction of the National Pride Project, Nijgarh International Airport. While many political parties have termed the Apex Court verdict flawed and against development aspirations, environment, wildlife and climate activists have welcomed the move. A writ was filed 2 years ago to halt the construction of an international airport in Nijgarh, which required the felling of around 2.4 million trees. A full bench of the Supreme Court on Thursday issued a verdict against the government, scrapping all decisions made regarding the construction of the mega project and directed for an alternative location. Of the two writs, one had demanded the cancellation of the project, while the other had urged for shifting the location by 5 kilometers to conserve local vegetation and wildlife. The verdict of the Supreme Court has shut all possibilities for pursuing the project further. However, politicians have termed the Apex Court decision an encroachment on the jurisdiction of the executive. Meanwhile, the local residents of Nijgarh Bara have also expressed their frustrations and anger over the Supreme Court verdict. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, what's your take on the government lethargy over the implementation of the recommendations made by Human Rights Commission? Your options are A. Overlooking Constitution, B. Ignoring the Commission, and C. Political interest. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. The 10th edition of Kantipur Half Marathon is going to be held on 4th of June, next Saturday. The single-day annual sporting event, which could not be held for the last 3 years amid the pandemic, is going to be held this year. The organizers have expected over 4,000 participants this year. The 10th edition, keeping in mind the climate change, is being run under the banner #RunForGreen Nepal #ClimateChangeCrisis. The Athletics Association has provided technical assistance to Kantipur Half Marathon, as the association president Rajiv Shah said that the event will be the basis for the selection of players for international meet. The event will hold men and women half marathon, 5-kilometer corporate run and wheelchair race. The half marathon will kick off from Kantipur publication premises in Thapathali and will go around Maitighar, Baneshwar, Tinkune, Koteshwar, Sanotimi, Sallaghari before culminating at Thapathali again. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.